Hello. Thank you for joining and listening to today's podcast. Rick and I really appreciate it. I'm riding solo today, so I wanted to kind of really pay tribute to a group of people at Mayo Clinic who make a real difference in the workplace and in people's lives. And they're what's called well-being champions. And they're enterprise-wide. Wherever Mayo Clinic is, there is a wellness champion likely there. And what they do is they really promote and encourage and support colleagues in the space of wellness, and they don't get paid to do it. They're regular employees or consultants who selflessly give their time to contributing to other people. And most recently, I was invited to give a talk to these group of individuals, celebrating them for a week-long list of activities that really highlighted what they mean to the organization and how much they contribute to wellness. And it was quite an honor. And after the talk, I received a few emails. And one of the emails came from a new friend. Her name is Deb Garcia. And so what Deb shared about was how she has, really worked on and has been a 2.0 person. Before I've talked about Keith 1.0, before the practice, and Keith 2.0 in doing the practice. And Deb has been a 2.0 for a while now. And so most recently, she had a surgery and an injury that was pretty significant. And it was one of the ones where she could have easily gone into, as she put it, a pity party. But then when she reflected on it and looked to see the goodness, which I found so inspiring, was that she thought after about an hour of kind of going back into the default setting, she came again to see the good. And she said, it hit me that I will have a lot of time with my grown daughter, who was her caregiver, which she would never have had that time otherwise, had that injury otherwise not happen. And so that is a great example of seeing the good in situations, because it's always there. It's always available to us if we are aware. And with the practice, I find myself being more and more aware of the good, instead of being Keith 1.0 that always looked for what was missing or what needed to be improved upon. I've let that go, and I've really, really focused on all the goodness that's in my life. She went on to say that I shared about my stepfather, and for many years, my relationship with my stepfather from my youth, I felt like I was really lived a pretty abusive childhood during that part of my journey. And that it wasn't until 37 that I finally gave that narrative up. The abuse or that unhealthy environment, it still existed. And by me giving it up didn't mean that I was saying it never happened, but instead I was choosing not to let it rule my life anymore. I mean, my last experience with my stepfather, that kind of environment, was at age 17. But I allowed it to continue to be a part of my life for the next 20 years. And that was a choice. It may have been an unconscious choice, but it was still a choice. And once I learned that there was a different way to live, I started living that way. And so Deb was celebrating the fact that I said that it was an old chapter in my life, which I had moved on from. And she went on to say, I think a lot of people get stuck on the first couple of chapters in their life, and then they miss out on all the other chapters. And the other chapters, if you keep going and then you keep doing the work, what you'll find is those chapters are really special. And that's what's been the case for me. And living an unconditional life has been one of the highlights of this new book that I'm writing. And what I mean by that is the situations that are challenging still occur. They do. What's different is I'm different with those situations. And that's made all, I guess you could say, the difference in the world. And I'm really, really grateful for that. And so if you are hanging on to an old chapter, you're certainly welcome to do that, but consider there may be an opportunity to become really aware that that's what you're doing, and that you can disidentify or detach from that chapter and create a whole new beginning. And I've seen people cling on to little chapters, or they cling on to like some big chapters, a lot of pages. And they keep adding pages to those chapters as they ruminate or reflect on it, or allow it to continue to control their lives. And a small chapter may be something that happened in the morning with your child, or something at work. And it happened at the very beginning of the morning, very beginning. You know, you got a new case at work that you weren't expecting. A coworker didn't show up who said they would. You know, your child forgot their homework, and now you have them halfway to school. You got to double back and pick up the homework, and now you're going to be late. And then you make a statement like, my morning is ruined. It's 7:15 in the morning. Like, you still got a lot more hours in your day, but you've already written the end to that chapter. You've already finished it. And then you start to live into it. And so once it became really clear that in this moment, I have a choice. I can continue to live this way and live this out, or I can pin a new, present for myself, a new moment for myself in which I have a completely rich, full experience that brings me joy. And not only brings me joy, but in that space, I'm different. And I get to create and contribute something different for everyone else. They get a better me, which is what I want people to experience, is a better me. Because we both win. Like, they get a better me, I get to experience being a better me, and it's just a different day. And so while this is a short podcast, I think Deb's message there really rings true. It does for me, and hopefully it will for you, that whatever chapter you're stuck on, if it's one that's not bringing you joy, if it's not a stress-free chapter, if it's one that is keeping you tethered to the past, or anxious about the future, or dissatisfied about the present moment, you can write another chapter. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, especially if you are really, really tied to a situation that brings you suffering. But if you can find the space to take a breath and detach yourself from it, I think you'll find that there are a lot of possibilities there that are worth you picking up the pen and writing a new chapter for yourself and everyone you come in contact with. Write a new chapter.